Jason Becker doesn't really need an introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. I'm going to give you my top tip on the best thing that I learned from studying Jason Becker's technique. It was a long time ago that I studied his technique, but it was a game changer for me personally, being like a metal/rock styled guitar player with what I learned. And it's a very, very quick thing to learn and a very quick game changer. So he was one half of the band Cacophony, the other half being Marty Friedman, that I will cover another lesson on at another point. Absolutely insane guitar player. I remember instantly when I got into him, I randomly stumbled across a video of this dude on stage, and he was doing this sweep picking that at the time I was trying to learn how to do it and suss out how people were doing it. And then the guy pulls out a yo-yo and carries on playing still, doing all these crazy arpeggios and scales whilst just playing around with a yo-yo on stage, and made it look so easy. I shudder to think how good he would be right now if he could still play, but unfortunately he did get diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's syndrome, and is unable to play anymore, which is an absolute shame because he was such a good player. Anyway, from studying his technique, I thought, how the heck is that guy moving so fast? And I was at a point in my guitar playing life where I wanted to be able to develop some speed like that, and I was stuck in these kind of like pentatonic ways, which I swear by the pentatonic, it's great. But I was also onto my kind of natural major and minor scales and all the modes of those scales, with where there's a lot more 3/0 per string going on. But I was struggling to get any speed with it because my hand was stuck in this kind of like, I call it the blues position, basically, which is it's where you're kind of like over gripping the neck, which there's nothing wrong with, because in blues it gives such good feel, having that thumb over the top and really gripping into it and gives a great sound for that sort of thing. However, limits you a lot when you're over gripping, when you are trying to do faster stuff. And I was also stuck in this method of not realizing how important the thumb was as well. And I'll get to that in just a moment. So I was practicing these scales and I was very stuck in my ways of kind of staying in this position and thinking, I'm struggling so much with these stretches, how am I ever going to get the speed? And it literally dawned upon me when I actually watched that yo-yo video, funnily enough, and I saw Jason Becker's hand position. Now, the guy had massive hands, and my hands, for a guitar player, are fairly small. But I don't use that as an excuse for me not being able to do something. And I noticed his hand, when he was playing, his wrist was very out, like this. And I was like, how is he getting his hand out like that? And I was like this, and I was like trying to bring it out, and I couldn't do it. And what I realized the issue was my thumb on the back of the neck. It was literally just always locked in this position, kind of like going over the top all the time. And I didn't realize that all I have to do to get my hand to come out like that is bring the thumb down. Now, when I mean bring the thumb down, I don't mean shift it down like that. So I don't mean go like that and shift it to the side, because that just keeps your wrist in the exact same position. See? What I mean is you keep your thumb pointing up to the sky, literally, and you bring it down like this. And what you're probably noticing is it shifts your wrist out. So if you watch this now, my thumb's up, I'm slowly bringing it down, and look at my wrist, it's coming out. Now check this out. Okay, I'm going to try and do my biggest stretch with my thumb over the top, like this, and I'm struggling to get that stretch that I'm doing there. I'm managing it, but I'm struggling it. It wouldn't pass in playing, especially if I was trying to do like some fast sort of like movements like that. Now watch what happens if I bring it out. You can actually see that it's a lot more comfortable. I can get bigger stretch as well, if I wanted to, okay? But I can get a heck of a lot more speed with this out. Okay, and now let's bring the thumb up and try and do that. I won't. It's hurting, to be honest with you. I'm struggling to actually do it. So what I realised was, from his technique, just try and keep that wrist out and try and play with the wrist out. It helps if you're a stand-up player. It helps having the guitar strap high for this. Once you get used to it, makes it harder the lower the strap goes down. But yeah, best lesson that I learned from Jason Becker, if you want to get some speed within your playing like the way he plays, or close to anyway, because it's very hard to play at those sort of speeds that he's at, then try working on subconsciously getting into a position where your wrist is always out when you're trying to do fast lead work, at least. Okay, when you're doing blues, bring it, you know, if you want to grip into the neck, do it. But for that speedy work, that style work that he does, try and bring that wrist out and keep it out, and try and just make yourself aware of, if you're not getting the speed, is the reason that you're not getting the speed you want because your wrist is like that, because it's mind over matter. Your body and your mind will always fight each other. You could be like that playing, and your wrist can easily slip, your thumb can come up and your wrist can slip back without you realising. Just keep an eye on it, and anytime you see it like that when you try to do speed stuff, try and bring the thumb down, bring the wrist out. The more you keep doing it, the more it'll work it into your muscle memory, and before you know it, you'll be more naturally playing like that with your wrist out the way Jason Becker does. I hope that helps you. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll catch you in another lesson, maybe a cover. If there's anything in particular that you want to learn, let me know in the comments below. If there's anything in particular you've learned from studying Jason Becker's style that you want to share with people, leave a comment below. And if you could subscribe to the channel, it does help me. I do love passing on the knowledge that I've learned over the years. Enjoy, guys, and I'll catch you soon.